Hello. Hope you're all doing well. Um, I'm here with my coffee, and I hope you are comfortable and ready to move into what is our last class. Oh my God. That's really kind of like this semester, I feel like it's just whizzed by. I guess I don't know. Am I getting old? Is life just happening at an accelerating rate? Um, I don't know. Anyway, I maybe it's just that I've had such a good time. I'm sorry to have it come to an end. Um, it's some ways it's been a very rough semester for me because my physical problems and everything. But this part of the last few months has been wonderful. Um, Among the things I've enjoyed are seeing these pictures of your pets. I thank everybody who sent me a picture. Um, and I really enjoyed them all. And here we go. Snake. Yeah, we have a snake. I just fed the snake. Vitruvia. Ah, yes, enjoy break. Um, I don't know if you'll get to take your dog swimming. But um I hope you do take some time to look at the sunsets or sunrises, you know. Corduroy is really looking forward to the snow. Um, he always looks forward to playing with his ball. Um, we have 8 multicolored balls of that particular shape. And that is the shape and texture that he likes best. Um, yes, and my wife did just shave his nozzle, his nose. You may notice in the background here, we've got bungee cords to hold the drawers shut so that the cats don't climb into the drawer and attack their food and the dog's food. Okay. Should we have government or can we rely on markets? This is kind of the point of the entire semester and the entire microeconomic um, project. How much should we rely on markets alone, and how much should we uh, use government? Um, okay, various readings about all this stuff. Okay, governments, social policies, forms can be seen as forms of insurance against the risks of illness, poverty, old age. Private markets are not good at these for reasons of adverse selection, moral hazard, and when conditions are known. Um, and stepping back for a second to review, because we've talked about these before, what is it that we are trying to accomplish? What are the goals of social policy? Now, I don't include here government providing infrastructure, um, providing public goods. Those are certainly very, very important. But those are less controversial. I mean, there's disputes about, can you have private roads? Can they be efficient? Can you have private internet providers? Or should that be a government? I mean, there are disputes about the extent to which some of these are public goods that can only be provided through taxation, compulsory provision. Um, but the idea that there are public goods is accepted by virtually everyone. The idea that there's at least some. I and others on the far left believe that there are a lot of things that are public goods. Um, Conservatives and libertarians would say that there are relatively few things that are public goods. We could, but that's a dispute over degree. There are more fundamental disputes. The utilitarians, like Jeremy Bentham, who I show here in the bottom left, who believes that we should basically distribute things equally. to maximize social utility. Then there are the property rights people. Now, of course, among the utilitarians, there are people like, we've talked about, we had a whole lecture about Arthur Oken and those who believe, pay lip service to utilitarian ideas, but believe that we still need to limit redistribution. Again, something that, their degrees. Property rights. John Locke, who didn't just believe in property rights, but he's usually associated with a school that believes that we should have minimal or no redistribution because it's a form of slavery to tax somebody, to give to somebody else. Those who advocate for social insurance, because you don't know where you'll be, so everybody we should redistribute to make up for all the various deficiencies that happen at birth. If you don't know whether you're going to be born to a rich family or a poor family, you would want everybody to be in the middle. That's John Rawls. And then there are those, and I give Lincoln here, who believe that there's certain basic citizenship rights that everybody should have: life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Pursuit of happiness means you need an education, you need access to the community. These days, that means having a cell phone, having an internet account. Politics or markets. Now, markets can be wonderful. Most economists spend most of their lives defending markets because they can be efficient, they can be fair, they can be democratic, they can promote empathy. We talked about this way back at the beginning of the semester. And here you might think about the server at the restaurant that you eat at. That server wants to give you what you want. That means being honest, being fair, thinking about what you want so that you will be happy. That said, market distribution may not maximize welfare or secure citizenship rights. Those who walk into that restaurant with a lot more money, perhaps because they were born that way, or they have talents, that genetic talents, or they have parents who do a good job raising them so that they can make a lot of money. Those people will be able to buy the better food. Somebody who's born without advantages may be able to get no more than a glass of water. And markets cannot provide security that we need. Insurance against life's hazards, including the hazard of being born without advantages. Markets cannot provide social insurance against being born unlucky. And we want insurance against this. Because of diminishing marginal utility, we are willing to give up on some of the opportunities of being really, really rich in order to make sure that we will not be really, really poor. And no one's going to sell you some types of insurance. Nobody's going to sell you insurance against the risk of being born without legs to a family that can't provide adequately for your needs. Nobody's going to give you insurance against the risk that your father will be abusive or your mother will be terrible or whatever. And lots of things go wrong in life that have nothing to do with your choice. You could be born poor. You could have a parent die before age 18. You could have a serious illness or illness for a family member. Involuntary unemployment happens to most people. You could outlive your savings. Yeah. You could be born in a manger to an unemployed carpenter. You could be born without arms and legs. You could be born blind. Something could fall on your head while you're walking down the street. Then somebody may say, "Oh, you should look up." That's like, fuck that. Things just happen. You know, you could be born poor and you could be born rich. Paris Hilton was born rich. These kids were born poor. Nobody's going to sell income insurance to these kids. Paris Hilton doesn't need the income insurance. Yeah. Look at these, some of the greatest inheritances. The Koch brothers. Two of them, 99 billion. The Walton family, I think there are four of them, 190 million. Mars, 90 billion. You know, you go down this list. I mean, many of these names you know. Some of them maybe you don't. You know, I didn't know that the Quant family owned BMW. This dog inherited 373 million. Yeah. When this person died, they wanted to make sure that that dog was well taken care of. It's a handsome looking beast. Yeah. Yeah. But you know what? I bet that dog takes no more pleasure from playing ball than Corduroy does. I bet it loves snow. Corduroy loves snow. Is it fair? Is it efficient? Do these large inheritances encourage people to work hard? Really? Do people work hard so they can give their children, their offspring, billions and billions of dollars? I don't think so. Does it encourage this guy to work hard, be productive, think about consumer needs? It does help you get into college if you're rich. Yeah. If your parents attended college, you are much more likely to go to college. You're much more likely to move up in life. You're likely to get higher grades. Mozart was born talented, no question about it. Is anybody going to sell insurance to stupid kids? You know, they weren't born with Mozart's talents. Is that their fault? Does it mean they didn't try hard? You know, my daughter Tasha was very, very good with lots of things, including violin. She would practice very little and still be the best violinist. Is that fair? You know, some other kids we knew, they practiced hours and hours and still didn't sound all that good. I mean, it's not a big deal. Who cares, really? You know, who's the first chairs in the middle school orchestra? But that's just a little piece of what happens in life. Some people are born with talent and do well. Some people work really hard and don't. Giancarlo Stanton, 325 million over 13 years. Not the Yankees' best contract. Bill Gates, 96 billion. That number's been changing a lot with the recent crash in the high tech stocks. Miley Cyrus, only 160 million. Her father was a big musician. His father was one of the country's leading patent attorneys. Neither of them would have done it so well without their parents. Both of them also have genetic talent. I don't know. I never met either of them, but I'm prepared to believe that Bill Gates is very smart. And I'm definitely prepared to believe that Miley Cyrus is talented. You know, some of that comes from hard work for both of them. They probably both work hard. But so do a lot of other people who don't do so well. You know, so how much of their higher income and wealth comes as a reward for hard work? How much is just a reward for being lucky? And should we be rewarding luck? What about all the people who don't have that luck? Should they all suffer for it? Jennifer Lawrence, let me see now. Miley Cyrus, 160 million. Jennifer Lawrence, 130 million. Selena Gomez, only 50 million. Sarah Hyland, only 14 million. I don't know. I think she's a better actress than either of those other two. And she's had more kidney transplants. It's not to laugh at. But hey, Sarah Hyland, she had a father and a brother who, first of all, were close enough genetic matches that they could give her a kidney, and second, were willing to do it. Lots of people don't have a father around, don't have a brother around, or a sibling around, and don't have one willing to give. Selena Gomez had a friend who was willing to give her a kidney. Friend who's kind of been slighted by Selena Gomez since, which I find real, whatever. Jennifer Lawrence doesn't need a kidney transplant. Good for her. Is that why she is worth so much more? I think Gomez has lupus. Hyland suffered depression, totally understandable after 27 surgeries. By the time she was 27. Jennifer Lawrence maybe drinks too much. Yeah. Why are these people poor? Oh, by the way, if you haven't seen Murder in the Building with Selena Gomez, oh, you got to see it. It's so much fun. Jennifer Lawrence is a good actress, but I don't know. Why are these people poor? Because they don't work hard. So should we punish them as a way of encouraging them to work harder? Or are they just poor because they're born to wrong parents in the wrong place? Anybody who's born in the United States is likely to be richer than people who are born in some other countries and maybe even live longer, healthier. These kids, they're working hard. My God, that girl is carrying a baby on her back. Her youngest sibling, I guess. She looks too young to have given birth. Bad things do happen, and left to their own devices, if they don't know whether they're going to be lucky or unlucky, people want protection against bad luck and want insurance. That's what insurance is all about. But no one's going to sell you insurance if you know that you're unlucky. Nobody's going to sell you insurance against a so-called pre-existing condition. And for most of the people who are poor in the world, poverty is a pre-existing condition. They're poor because their parents are poor, because their country is poor, because they, suffer some genetic disposition or whatever. People fear insurance will undermine work ethic. That's called the moral hazard argument. Oh, we don't want to give people stuff because they'll behave badly. We don't want to give people unemployment insurance because then they won't get a job. We don't want to give people health insurance because then they'll just go out and get sick. Seriously. We don't want to give people free insulin because then they'll eat sugary foods. There's a Republican candidate for senator in 2022 who said that. Yeah. And private insurance isn't going to give you insurance against the really bad things. Nobody's going to give you insurance against having bad parents or even nice parents who are poor. Nobody's going to give you insurance against being born without limbs or just born with a genetic disposition to cancer. Yeah. Nobody's going to give you insurance against not having a good income because you're just not very good at things. Private insurance markets are inherently inefficient. Moral hazard, companies waste a lot of resources checking against moral hazard. Arguably over 5% of money paid into private health insurance goes just to checking against moral hazard. Checking against people using health insurance for stuff that they should have avoided. And And insurance companies use their bureaucracy to cherry pick and lemon drop, picking customers who are going to be healthy and won't need insurance and driving out those who will need it. Health insurance companies love selling insurance to young, healthy people and hate selling insurance to older, unhealthy people. Who's to blame them? When it comes to a good capitalist business like my father's coffee company, he profited by selling more coffee, even lowering prices, finding better quality, attracting more customers. Insurance companies profit by getting less customers, getting rid of the customers who are going to get sick. And they can make predictions about that. Their prediction is going to be wrong, and they spend a lot of money making these predictions, but there are ways that they can get rid of the sick. Upper floor offices without elevators. Lots of paperwork. Back in California, and these are illegal now, but a few years ago, California health insurance companies dropped 20,000 sick people in the course of the year just for getting sick. Okay, we'll pay your insurance up to now, but after this, you know what? We don't want you on our policy anymore. Yeah, you don't pay any more premiums, and we won't pay any more benefits because you are too sick. What happens to those people? They don't disappear. They may die, but they don't disappear. What happens is dumps the sick on others, families, charity, maybe the state, if they're able to get Medicaid or Medicare. But it negates the whole idea of insurance. And of course, there's all the waste, administrative waste. And those who lose insurance get sicker, which makes the cost even greater for society. Universal coverage would be just more efficient. Just give insurance to everybody and stop fighting about it. You know, paperwork, bureaucratic regulations, they just create waste. But failure, if insurance companies don't act aggressively, things will just get worse for the insurance company. Premiums will go up. The sick, the healthy will opt out, find a company that doesn't charge as high premiums because they have a healthier clientele. That makes the pool more expensive, drives up costs, higher premiums. In the other direction, get rid of the sick people. Coverage costs go down, premiums drop, you attract more healthy people. Universal insurance accepts moral hazard, and bans cherry picking and lemon dropping. Everybody in, nobody out. Medicare, Social Security, those are examples. Every other advanced capitalist country has some form of universal health insurance on the idea that having companies select their clientele is wasteful and unproductive. And every other country is doing much better than us. If you look at life expectancy compared to healthcare spending, the US is way out there in spending. We spend more than any other country, 50% more than the next country. But our life expectancy is way below the average for other countries. What's more, things are getting worse in the United States. Our life expectancy has been dropping for several years, even before COVID, has actually been going down. Every other country has had increasing life expectancy with less spending relative to us. We are falling behind in both life expectancy and spending. I've estimated that eliminating private health insurance would save Massachusetts residents $23 billion. Money left on the street. Why don't we just pick it up? Because some people are making a lot of money on our current system. Those who sell life insurance, health insurance, those who profit from high drug prices, those who profit from high hospital spending, high hospital prices. Those who do not profit are those who die sooner. More people can't see doctors, more people die. Each diamond here is a county in the United States. The relationship between mortality rates, and the proportion who cannot afford to see a doctor. More people can't afford to see a doctor, more people die. About 250,000 deaths in the United States before COVID were associated with not being able to see a doctor. With COVID, about the same number died in the first 2 years of COVID because they lacked health insurance, or people around them didn't have health insurance. Because if people around you don't have health insurance, they are more likely to get sick, and you are more likely to get sick because you know them. Massachusetts, same thing. Each Diamond, a county in Massachusetts, we have, fewer people. I mean, the worst in Massachusetts, fewer than 10% can't afford to see a doctor. Nationwide, as many as over 40% in some counties cannot afford to see a doctor. We're much better off in Massachusetts, but even here, counties where more people can't afford to see doctors, poorer counties, more people died. We do treat life as something that money can buy, and the rich live, the poor die. This is more true over the last 30 years since the Reagan administration, when our social policy started turning away from redistribution towards the market. Using the market means rich people do better than poor people. The poorest 10% actually have declining life expectancy at age 55 over the last 30 years. And there are other costs: reduced life expectancy, poor mental health, increased imprisonment, increased murders. This is just 4 lines in a study for the United Kingdom associating the loss from economic inequality in the United Kingdom compared to the rest of the OECD, Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development. Mind you, in the United States, inequality is greater than the United Kingdom. All these numbers are higher for the United States. But higher inequality costs British people over $1,000 just from these items. Improving health with universal coverage would raise income in Massachusetts by nearly 10%. Again, why don't we do it? The money's sitting there. Why aren't we picking it up off the street? Because some people benefit, while the benefits of universal coverage would go to other people. Okay, so to sum up, markets are virtues. Markets are imperfect. There are things that we need to do as a community. Areas of economic activity where markets do not work, do not provide for what we need as a society. Health insurance is one of them. I focused on that one, but education, higher education, something very important to you. These would be others. Okay. I'm sorry to leave because I've enjoyed our time together. I've much enjoyed these. I've enjoyed meeting some of you, at least over Zoom. Enjoyed our correspondence. I've enjoyed this class. I wish you all well. I hope you all have a good break. Health allowing, maybe I'll get to see some of you around town. If you do, come by, say hello. I'm sure you'll see me with Corduroy. I'm never out without him. So say hello to him too. Until then, live long and prosper. Bye-bye.